As you know, we are talking about approaches to language curriculum design. And in this regard, we talked about some approaches which are already there and which we could use for language curriculum design. We did a comparative analysis, although brief one, of Nation and McAllister and Graves' models of language curriculum design. And both these models, as you could see from the previous module, emphasize language curriculum design as a cyclical process, not a linear process. Okay, and then we talked about how to do curriculum design. Now we're gonna come to another question: where to start? Okay, at what stage? For instance, if you have no curriculum, where you're going to start? Whether you're going to start from the needs analysis, or whether you're going to start with environment analysis, or whether you would simply start with setting up the goals and then do the needs analysis later on. Right, within starting points, we've got a range of questions which we as language curriculum planners need to be aware of. So firstly, if we are starting from nothing and we have no curriculum, so we need to be aware what decisions to be made. While making these decisions, we need to ensure that we employ a cyclical approach towards curriculum design, not the linear one, because the linear one could constrain us, sticking to one element and moving on to the next and looking at the second one, it's in its thoroughness, and then moving on to the third one. So if we are having some problems, we might be grappling, right? And the second question which needs to be considered while designing curriculum approach is, for example, if we've got, some existing materials and how we could draw on those existing resources, what sort of, implications we should keep in mind while drawing on these sources. And these, while drawing on, we need to ensure whether these include some activities or the use of authentic materials. When I say authentic materials, I mean to say the materials which are not specifically published for language teaching or their use in the language teaching classroom. And the third one is selecting from a course book. So there are certain advantages from, if you have already pre-planned textbook, you could select the material which is suitable to your learners. And from my own personal point of view, I would rather be very cautious while using a textbook, while employing approaches to curriculum design, because selecting or adopting a textbook is very technical decision or a crucial decision. What first we need to decide is to think the needs of our learners, the context in which it's going to be taught, and the assessment procedures. So I would rather not let the textbook teach the course. Rather, I will make personally some decisions about how to use the text, how to play with the activities and the tasks, and make language learning as a fun. Right. Then the fourth one is the published textbooks. Published textbooks, loosely describing as the textbooks which are in the market for commercial purposes, right? They offer a sort of very easy approach because teachers don't have to spend too much time to create materials. And if you remember, when we talked about Prabhu's argument about using source books instead of course books, he is against the notion of using textbooks because they restrict the teacher and they rob the learners from negotiating with the curriculum. Right. And while making starting points, I mean, where to start, as I said before, we need to be very well informed, and while making judgments where to start, we need to make some careful decisions about, needs analysis, decisions about environment, goals, principles, providing for effective teaching.